Hello, and welcome to Soul Babes Crafts and Creations. I'm Louise, and today is my first video of the new year, even though we are past halfway through into January. But as I put in the post on New Year's Day, I think, I needed to take a little bit of a break from the normal videos. Because I did so many videos in December that I got a little bit drained. So, yes, I needed to take a little bit of a break. There was also a couple of other reasons, which I will go into in a little while. But first, today is Sunday, and in my world, that's if it's Sunday. What's if it's Sunday, you ask? Well, when I was a kid, living at home with my parents, we had if it's days, and it was usually a Saturday, and it was usually the end of the month because it would be just before my father got paid, and because he was working on the railways at that time, and in general, we would have sort of run down what food we had in house because the if it's was primarily to do with food, to do with what meals we were having. Now, in general, my parents would menu plan for a month, and they would, as soon as my father got paid, go to the grocery stores, and the butchers, and literally buy in a month's worth of food, which would then be, I mean, the butchers, it would be bulk buy of sausages and um, chops and meats and joints of meat and this, that, and the other. It would be bulk buyed, and then they would bring it home and portion it all up and put it in the freezers, which we had, if I remember rightly, 4 freezers. 2 were down the shed. 2 huge chest freezers were down the shed, which was where most of the meat was put down to. Um, and my mum used to go on a baking spree and bake pies using this grocery store. They would She would pre-make pies and bolognese sauces, and everything else would all be pre-made within that first weekend of getting all of this in, and then portioned up and put in freezers. As I say, we had 2 down the shed, 1 larder size, 1 was at the top, on the top floor where us kids had our bedrooms. Um, I am the eldest of 4. And at that time, my sister wasn't born, so it was me and the 2 boys in top bedroom, or top 2 bedrooms, because it was originally 2 bedrooms. Became 3 bedrooms when the boys got old enough that they needed to have a separate room. So my father separated the room, and it became 3 bedrooms upstairs. Um, but there was, so we had a larder freezer was on in the hallway between the 2 bedrooms up the stairs, and we had a small freezer downstairs in the kitchen, under the stairs, in the understairs cupboard. Bit like Harry Potter, but it was a fridge freezer, and a washing machine was in the cupboard under the stairs. Um, so as I said, meal plan for the month, approximately, and come the end of the month, but just before my father would get paid, it would be an if it's day. So, if we fancied something and it was in the freezer or in the cupboards, 'cause they'd buy loads of tin stuff in, loads of packet stuff in, so if it was there, we could have it. That was what If It's was about. So, I've brought that into my channel on the Sunday, because when I was a kid, Sunday was roast. It didn't matter, it was roast. You came in from church and it was your roast dinner. That was it. You had no choice in the matter. There was no difference. It was roast every week. Various roasts, but it was roast. But I've brought this into my channel on an If It's Sunday, because I have plans on all the other days to have their own separate segments. But there are still crafts that I do that aren't in their own segment. There are things that I like to do that I could put in my Sunday segment. And basically, if I've done it and recorded it, then it becomes in the If It's Sunday. So that's what my If It's Sunday is all about. Now, this particular week, I am going to give my craft yourself free figures from 2025, purely because I did do a monthly thing of keeping track of what I've made and what I was doing. Just never seemed to get round to doing a video. And mainly that was because every time I was coming to the end of the month to plan on doing my videos, I would have the grandson here. As it happened in December, he came to stay with us for 10 days for from the 27th of December. So, yay! Meant that I didn't have time to do a video because I hadn't finished doing my creations and whatever else by that time. So, yeah, it didn't end up getting done. And as I said, took a break, needed a break. So here we are. So I'm going to give you my results of what I did in 2025. I also did keep my yarn bands. I have done every time since I started crochet. I've always kept my yarn bands, but never really sort of worried about totaling them up, or actually just keeping them and keeping an eye on what I was actually making each year. So this was the first year I've done that. Learn a few tricks, learn a few things to sort of bear in mind. So hopefully going into 2026, I will find it a bit easier to actually manage to do this time. But anyway, let's get to my figures. So I have several sheets, but this is my basic summary sheet. So, right, going to have to change glasses over because these are my distance ones, and these are my readers. Otherwise, I won't be able to see my page, but I can't see my screen now. So, right, okay, let's see. Right, we'll do with what I made first. So, I have a segment was called Magazine Makes Mondays Boggy Creek Blankets. Well, it started off as Boggy Creek Squares, and I changed it to Boggy Creek Blankets later on in the year. In that segment, I made 166 squares mostly, a couple of other shapes as well, but 166 motifs, and did 56 sections on a blanket. And then one completed blanket was completed for the year, for the magazine makes Monday. That was it, with putting them all together. So there's one complete blanket, 56 sections in one of those blankets, and 166 squares, which I will be putting together when I complete all of the squares to go, so that I can then match up size-wise, put them together. In the Tuesday segment, which was Tunisian Tuesday, I made 81 sections and one motif, because there was one that, as it was in the round, you can't work it on the strip, on a back and forth, and one blanket completed. On Wednesdays, I started off the year doing amigurumis, and I made 24 amigurumis teeth, and then I changed it to work on a whip, because I have quite a few outstanding projects. Quite a few of them I haven't started, but I have the materials to make them, just haven't got round to starting them. And then others were, how do I put it? Others were ones that I've started, but something else came along that I put that to one side, especially as they were big items and stuff like that. So, and out of that, I did 2 blankets, one which was the Jayda's 2024 calendar blanket, and the other was Fiber Spider's kaleidoscope blanket, the C2C one, which was for a friend of ours, friend of my family. And then the last project that I made in the work on the whip was the secret project number 1, which was the wall hanging, the flamingo wall hanging that I made for Sam over at Manford's Makes. So you can see the video that I did of that after she'd done it, after she'd shown it on her channel. Plus also I'll link her video of her opening that at the time. So, and then we go on to Thursdays, and Thursdays was my Diamond Art Thursday. And on the Thursdays, I did 12 dragon pictures, which are, some have been given to my mum. The others I will be giving to my mum. I just need to create frames, which comes into play, or my Saturdays thing. But anyway, so I've got 12 dragon pictures. Then Fridays started off being cross stitch Fridays, which I did 2 cross stitches, I completed 2. I do have quite a few more cross stitch, but decided that I'm not going to continue doing those so much on the channel, purely because they are so slow. I am very slow when it comes down to cross stitch. So it's being put to one side. I will pick it up when I feel like it, but it will end up in an If It's Sunday when I decide to show anything on that. Then we come to Saturdays. Now, Saturdays was my resin art. In that segment, I made 27 hearts, 1 dragon, 1 mini skull, 1 tea light stand, a wind chime, 2 picture frames, 4 Easter eggs, uh, 2 trays of magnets, of letter magnets. So I did quite a few items, but had to take a pause on that due to the resin causing some problems, which has also caused more problems during December, which I will explain in a bit. Um, then external to all of those segments, I made 4 squares for Khadija at Ladybird Loves, the King's Garden horse for Hooker versus Hooker, which was the winning. I can't believe it. I still do not believe that I won with my King's Garden horse. But anyway, then I also have done a What's in the Name shawl, which is still on Janice at the moment, and the Patricia butterfly for because that my mum's name, um, and it was given to my mum for Christmas. And then finally, we have December's countdown to Christmas, where I completed the crochet blanket. I made diamond arc decorations, which I haven't put the total down. Why did I not put the total down? And I don't know. Where have I put this? I know I've written the total down somewhere. No, I haven't. Okay, well, I think it is 104 diamond art decorations, 104 resin art decorations, and the jigsaw puzzle. Now, again, with the resin art, I have now found that I am definitely having a reaction to using resin. That doesn't mean I'm going to give up on using resin. I'm just going to have to see if I can find a different, not so much a different resin, but maybe getting some. I mean, I've seen some other content creators that are using like an air purifier machine, which I'm looking at trying to get and trying to use. The thing is, it's well out of my price range. I have put it in my Amazon wish list, but it is well out of my price range at the moment to try and get one. But I'm looking to get one. I'm also looking to upgrade my um, mask and um, eye protection because I was having problem with this eye. This eye literally, it would swell up. It was swelling up like I'd been 10 rounds with Frank Bruno or Mike Tyson or Muhammad Ali. You name a boxer, yeah, that's how it looked. It came up and I couldn't see out of it. I couldn't open my eye, and so it was this eye would come up, and then this side of my face here would balloon, and it would be red and irritable, and but it was only appearing now on my face because I managed to find better because when I did resin at the beginning part of the year, it was my hands that were getting affected. Um, but I found a better gloves to use, and I wasn't having problems with my hands then. So yes, I'm definitely having some kind of reaction to the vapor in the resin. So I'm trying to find a way around it. I do intend on coming back to resin, but it will be a lot later in the year once I've been able to afford to get the machine. So anyway, let's get back on to the craft yourself free. So that meant that in the month of January, right, how am I going to do this? I think rather than reading out lots of figures because there are see lots and lots and lots of figures. So what I will just do is my totals, and hopefully in 2026 I will do a monthly video. So the grand totals for my yarn usage, I used 9,665 grams, which is 340.92 ounces. It's quite a bit of yarn. A lot more than I was expecting to have used. And then in the resin and other, it was 8,626 grams, which is 304 ounces. Hell of a lot. So that gave me full totals of it all together, full total was 18,293 grams, or 645.26 ounces. That's a lot of craft. So, next thing, yarn bands. Here is my yarn bands used in 2025. Now you can see that a lot of them are the same because in general I use Yarn Smiths. That's my main one that I use, and Starcraft Special DK, the ones I generally use. So in here is 95 yarn bands, which, once I total everything up on it, is 26.45 kilometers, or 16.355 miles of yarn used. That's a lot. 16 miles for me is equivalent from going from my house to my biggest city close to me and back, because it's just under 9 miles to the place where I've got to go on Wednesday, because I'm actually recording this on Monday. I've got an appointment at the hospital on Wednesday. So yes, it's equivalent of that distance. That's a long way. So anyway, right. So that's my totals done. I mean, all these other sheets is just it all breaking down because there we go. There's each of the different day. dates and stuff. So I've now created a better way of me doing it all for next year. So that was my 2025 results. Plans for the year. Right then. Plans I have is I will continue makes my magazine makes Mondays. Will be a slight difference, but not much of a difference. It will just continue as I was doing. So one week it will be from the Claire Montgomery book and cards and the Bella Co book and cards. And then the following week it will be from the Art of Crochet, the Art of Crochet magazine, the 100 tiles book, and the 3D Granny Squares book until they are all finished. Um, I still haven't yet decided on what route I'm going down. The original plan was for them to go to Boggy Creek. They may still go to Boggy Creek. Um, I haven't yet managed to find a charity in the UK that I'm happy to donate these to with the amount of artistic work putting into them. If they were just plain blankets, then there'd be quite a few charities that I could quite happily put them into. But as these are geared for children, um, they are specific sized and they are specific designs. I haven't yet decided on that side of it. So I will continue them until they are all finished. Tuesday will stay as Tunisian Tuesday and will stay as it is, where I am um, picking out tutorials from Jayda in Stitches, Nina's Knots Crochet, TL Yarn Crafts, and MDL Crochet. I will continue to use their videos that they've got coming up. I mean, most of them, it's just MDL Crochet that is still continuing to put videos up, which I will just keep updating the list and keep drawing out as and when. Um, Wednesday. Wednesday will stay as the work on a whip. I have several whips still to go, quite a few whips still to go. Some that as I said earlier, I haven't touched. I've bought all the yarn, so I'm keeping that yarn aside for it, but it won't be started until they're drawn. Thursday will stay as diamond art, but I have a new set of diamond art pictures to do, and these are windmills or um, landscape pictures. So that's the plan for for Thursdays this year. Fridays. I did enjoy my amigurumi Wednesday. I just got a little bit overwhelmed by it because I was working from 10 books at once, picking one number and doing all of those ones that were at that number. It got to the point that I was struggling. I could not keep up with making 10 amigurumis on top of all the other things that I was doing. So I've decided that I will do them now on a Friday, but I will pick one book and then one thing out of that book at a time, and I will work that book until it's finished. As yet, I'm not fully decided on which route I'm gonna go down. I'm thinking of drawing out which book it's gonna be, and then drawing out another number telling me which order to do the items in that book. There is a lot more books because it's now not 10 books. I now have 22 amigurumi books. So I've certainly got my work cut out for doing those. But it's a segment that can keep going and keep going and keep going. The eventual plan is that all the amigurumi will be going to my grandson, as he seems to love everything I make and wants me. I mean, he has actually asked me to make him a Kingsguard and horse. He's asked me to make him a big sun pillow. He keeps asking every time he sees something new that I've made, he wants it. So, and there's a lot of things that he can't have because they're made for another reason. So, I've now decided that's what I'm going to do. I will make him the stuff from the amigurumi books and pass it on to him. Saturday, I will keep as free at the moment until I can get back into my resin, but that will eventually be resin art. Sunday will stay as the If It's Sunday. What else am I doing? Well, in the break that I've had for these last couple of weeks, I've been catching up on some of the other content creators that I have followed. Some I've followed for quite some time. Others I've followed for a short time. A couple of those creators have now come up with some new segments. Missi from Missi's Universe and More, in collaboration with a couple of her Yarny sisters, has come up with 3 particular segments. The first one is Woobling Wednesday. Now, I, like Sam from Manfors Makes, I'm in the UK. It's not easy for us to get the woobles. They are they're expensive for US citizens. They're even more expensive for the UK citizens. So, I've been doing some of the other ones. I've made 3, which was needed. Again, like Sam from Manfors Makes, I wanted to be in the Girl Guides and brownies, but as I explained earlier, my family lived on a budget. We couldn't afford it. Couldn't afford for me to be going. And as I was also a young carer, because my father was working all these different hours, and my mum needed a lot of help, certainly with my brothers. Both, I suspect, had ADHD before ADHD became an ADHD became a thing. They were both told at school that they were naughty, as most kids at that time, when as I say, before ADHD was actually fully diagnosed. they both had a lot of difficulties in school. I had a lot of difficulties in school. I had learning disabilities. Recently found out that I actually was diagnosed with dyslexia. Didn't know I was diagnosed with dyslexia. I just thought I was slow. I just thought I just couldn't read. Thought I was slow. And basically, when I read all my, because I have all my school reports. Yeah, order, definitely. Yes, I still have all my school reports. And every single teacher used to say, "Slow in class." So, I had learning difficulties. The boys were hyperactive constantly. So, I used to help my mum with looking after the boys, trying to anyway. And then when my sister came along, yeah, that was that was it was hard. I had a hard childhood, but really don't need to go further than that. So, trying to think where I was going with that. Where was I going with that? I've forgotten where I was going. Um, anyway, so let's go back to where I was. So, anyway, Missy is making these woobles, and yeah, that was where I've gone off on the tangent. Now, as I did say quite a few times in last year, I go off on tangents. My brain, I will see something, and my brain will go off, and I'll think, okay, why? Where have I gone off to there? Let's get back to where I was. So, possibility, ADHD brain. Don't know. Never been diagnosed. But anyway, so Missy's doing this Woobling Wednesdays, and I have made the 3 to get the patches, which I now have to send pictures to Missy and Patricia at the Yarny Cat Crochet and Rainee at the Willy Llama Shop. So, sorry, brain, as I say, it jumps, and I can't think where I'm going. But I've made, and that will come up in a video because I'm now going to do a segment where I'm going to make specifically ones that they put in their channel. I will make and put on my channel and show. So that's an extra one that's going to come up on the Wednesday. Thursday is Duck Duck Dishcloth. Now, another one that's by Missy at Missy's Yarniverse and More. All these channel names I will link in the description box below. So there will be a Thursday segment. Now, I'm going to be quite a way behind because, as I said, I had been very busy October, November, and December. So I hadn't been able to keep up with a lot of the channels that I watch. Um, so I'm late to the party on buying the book. I have it coming. just that it may not get here till sometime in the middle of February. So I'm gonna be a few weeks behind, but hopefully I will be able to catch up in the meantime afterwards. I have some cotton. I don't this that box there, all those there, that's all cotton. I don't have a lot of cotton, um, because I don't generally use cotton. I use acrylic. I can't use wool, so yeah. But anyway, so Thursdays there will be an extra video of me showing my dishcloths from the duck duck dishcloth. You'll have to go over to Missy's channel to learn more on that one. And then finally, another one from Missy is the Silly Yarny Sisters Socktacular Saturday. So there will be a video coming out on Saturdays. Um, yes, um, I've never made socks before, and although I've got lots of acrylic, it's mostly, I think most of what I have up there is DK or Aran weight, which is going to be too thick for making socks. I have managed to find one lot of 4-ply, which is equivalent to sock weight 4 socks. Problem being, it's all one colour. And it was originally bought for another project that is currently in my whip pile. So, I've got lots of that yarn, so it's yarn I can use. So I'm doing a practice one at the moment using that yarn. I've got to order some other yarns. I obviously can't order sock yarn specific because sock yarn contains wool. Yeah, not happening. I would be in severe breakout if I was to be using any kind of wool. So I have to use acrylic. I found some acrylic blend, cotton blends. So that's what I'm going to be using. But again, I've got to wait for it to arrive before I can get on with doing those. But I can show my practice. That's what I'm doing. So that's giving me quite a lot of segments to do. Now, hopefully, I will be able to do it a bit better as the grandson will be turning 4 this year. So he should be starting full-time school by the end of the year. So the hope is that I won't be seeing him. Well, I shan't put it as that I hope. I won't be seeing him quite so often as I have done in the previous years. He will still come over for half terms and holidays, summer holidays, Easter holiday, but he won't be here for it won't be here sort of the end of every month. He won't be here for a week every month. He will only be here for a few days every 6 weeks, which will make it a little bit easier on me. I'm hoping to try and then, in the meantime, record my videos a bit further ahead than I did last year. Last year, I was probably recording the video the weekend before it was going out, um, and sometimes even on the day that it was going out. So, yeah, I'm going to sort of try and organize my time a little bit better so that I can get my recordings done a bit earlier and continue on from there. So, with that being all said, I think that's everything I need to worry about for today. Um, yeah, everything else, I say, all these things that I've made, I can't physically show them because they're like the segments for the blankets are all currently all boxed up until I'm ready to get them out to continue on. And I have quite a big tote box full of squares that's full, and it's going to be needing another tote box to put the next lot of squares in before I finish. So, anyway, time to get on. So, I will say thank you for watching. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Love and kindness to everyone. Bye for now, and I will see you all soon.